What's up YouTube, it's Dakota back with another video. Today going through a weekly trading review of the week 2023 March 20th through the 24th. This week is actually the worst trading week I've ever had, ever, period. Uh, at least since I started understanding risk management, right? um, I took 5 trades, lost all 5, and had an R multiple of minus 4.03 and a gain of minus 6.78, which is ridiculously high, ridiculously outweighing what I usually do. And that's in part to a few things. Number one, I was taking early entries. Number two, I'm actually implementing higher risk on certain setups depending on the grade. So a higher grade setup, higher quality setup, I go ahead and risk more on those setups. Right, and lower on the lower quality setups depending on based on win rate and R that it produces. So getting into the actual week, go on Monday. Why did I take this trade? Price aggressively broke below daily level 131.71 and left an untested level above it. I was looking for price to scale down to the bottom of the range, which was next daily level 130.53. How did I execute the trade? Limit was activated. I cut the trade once I saw price did not give an ideal reaction after the limit activation, and price would have still hit an SL even if I held it throughout the entire time. Uh, Trade was executed perfectly. Now, what it looked like after the trade, basically, price broke this daily level, looking for a retest of this candle here, this bullish candle, minor bullish candle there, and price tested it, but it didn't give me the test I wanted to see on the hourly time frame, so I had to cut it. It did give some profit, but ultimately went back up above that level for a brief time. Okay, so now going to the next pair or next trade on Tuesday, Euro AUD. I took this trade as a way to implement a new trading concept I'm studying. I'm currently studying the Wyckoff method, and it's really subjective from what I understand it so far. I still have a lot of testing to do with it. I did make a mistake here. Instead of actually using my testing size, I used a D grade size, so should be risking 0.1% on this trade because I'm still going through the testing process of it. But I didn't, however, and lost more than what I really needed to lose here. So I won't get too deep into this because it's a concept I'm still studying. Euro AUD 2 on Tuesday was actually a trade that I take. Price broke below weekly level 1.5978, and I was looking for price to reject the last low it created before the break. How to execute the trade? Limit order and last low. Limit order and the last low was tested. SL ended up being hit here. How could I have done better on the trade? Recognize that the idea was already tested before I attempted the opportunity. Otherwise, it was perfectly executed. Here you go. So this is the actual trade. Price broke below this weekly level, and this was the idea initially. Unfortunately, this week I came back and was looking for an opportunity at this higher high, which was untested, higher low that was untested, which did get tested, and it actually gave the rejection exactly how I wanted it. Unfortunately, overnight, 2 hours. Unfortunately, after I had activated, 2 hours later, it hit SL, and that all happened overnight. So I wasn't attending the charts during this time. If I was, I'm not sure there's a way for me to get out of that, and other than the 50 cut. But this is what the daily's looking like. Now that weekly level may be too weak to actually draw there, but nevertheless, it was a pretty good trade taken. I'm happy with it. Other than recognizing the initial opportunity, I didn't recognize it until afterwards, so that's a mistake on my part. EURJPY. Why did I take this trade? Price broke below daily level 142.149. How to execute the trade? Limit order. Then I cut the trade once high was broken. How could I have done better on this trade? Recognized target was already reached and tested it multiple times. Need to cancel limit in this scenario and change the JCP setup if necessary. So got multiple tests at this target level that I had here, and if I have multiple tests or at least a test, so really on this test of that low there, I go ahead cancel limit order, which I didn't do in this scenario. Again, not being too attentive, and that happened the previous week. So again, another trade that doesn't necessarily have to be taken. I lost 0.85R there. Then last trade Friday, why did I take this trade? On EURUSD, price was in the uptrend for the past 5 months. Daily level 1.0804 broken and untested. Looking for a long-term rally to 114. How did I execute the trade? Limit order was activated and SL hit overnight. It just went straight through. Trade was perfectly executed though. If we go to the H1 time frame, got this high at the daily level broken, and then price broke down to the low here and just blasted through my stop loss. Okay. That was that trade. Now review. What is common with my losers? Test the target before entry. Those are some that happen on a few of them. Test the target was already hit, or target was already hit, or the initial idea had already played out and I was playing off of a secondary idea. Control risk below 4%, which I clearly did not. Had a 6%, almost 7% loss this week. Absolutely ridiculous, but can still recover from that. No worries on that. What is one thing I can do better next week? Only take perfect entries. And when I say perfect entries, I'm not talking about perfect sniper entries. I'm talking about perfect entries in accordance with my trading plan. Not taking early entries, not taking late entries. Just waiting for that limit to be activated. And that's really it. Just waiting for my limits to be activated. And the rest here are actually things that I went back through on my journal. I went ahead and reviewed my journal with somebody to see where I was going wrong, see some things I could fix and do better on the next 100 trades that I have, because I am implementing, again, higher risk on certain setups. So, and that's completely new to me. I usually just risk the same amount every single time, but seeing that there is some room for growth in doing that, so I gotta adapt and learn how to trade with that concept implemented. So with that, these are some of the changes that I'm making. No more than one A plus setup in a row, which is the highest risk that I apply. Can't take more than one. Can't take two in a row, basically, right? Because back to back losing a high percentage risk, losing a high percentage is not very beneficial. And then same equity levels on all accounts. At the time, I was trading, I think, about 6 accounts or so with the trade copier, but some of them had different equity levels, and some of them hit stop loss earlier than other ones, meaning overall account percentage stop loss than other ones, right? And no manual entries on Monday and Thursday because those are the days I lose the most money on. Now, this week I actually did lose my funded accounts, like all of my funded accounts, and I was actually going through challenges to have another, what was it, 600 or 800k. I don't quite. It's 600k because I already had the 400. Yeah, yeah. So I ended up losing all those accounts because of those A plus trades. Uh, Ended up being losses, and my early entries just kind of compounded and hit stop earlier than I expected. And I thought I was doing my math right, but I missed one. Actually, I took one extra trade, one extra early entry trade, which just put me at that level where that A plus trade just knocked me out since it went out to be a loser. But growing pains, right? Just learning how to adapt with adaptive risk, and we'll see how to apply it in the long run. Just gotta go run through it again. What are the top two ideas for next week? AUD USD 0.6660. Y, daily JCP setup, looking for a fractal H1 JCP leg pattern within the larger continuation. What does that mean? All right. Default up. Where are you? Here we go. Okay, so do I not have the daily? That's a shame. On the daily time frame, we have a large impulsive move here, and this is a corrective movement to the upside. And looking for price to scale back down to this daily level or these daily lows here. And on the hourly time frame, just looking for that same idea within this continuation. If I'm looking for this to continue down to these lows, I'm looking for another, essentially an exact replica of this, just smaller, right? So if we go ahead and draw, just so it's clear, looking for this to continue down on the lower time frame, and the actual setup I'm looking for is that same thing to happen here and price to continue down there. Okay, next final pair that I'm looking at for next week is dollar Swiss. I'm looking for dollar Swiss to test weekly level. I don't have any real levels to trade off of this yet, and there's nothing really for me to trade right now. That's why there's no price there. But it's just an idea of looking for price to scale down a bit lower. That does contradict this idea, but if you're looking at correlation, but that's why there's no setup right now. So we'll see. We'll see if that plays out. And I believe that is it. Again, worst trading week I've ever had, and lost 400k, but no worries. Got the challenges back up again, and run through it again and just build the accounts back up. Learn from the mistakes and do better next time. And with that, I will catch you guys in the next one.